Hello and what's this week's Devil Detail podcast? I'm Rob Parkinson and we're here talking all things Salford Red Devils. Joining the show this week, as ever, we've got Paul Parkin. How's your week been, mate?
Hi, pal. Yeah, not bad. It seems to have flown by. Certainly the last few days, I don't know where they've gone. It's like, I don't know, we played on Sunday, we're back on Friday. My head's up my backside at the moment. No, it's been okay, no dramas. I've not been ill, I've not broke my phone, so it's been a good week, thanks.
Talking about breaking technology, Parker, I had a little play with the AI bot today at work, and the technology is there, Parker. It blows your mind, really, what you can do with them.
Yeah, it terrifies me. I think I was at my brother's the other week, one of my brothers, and he's got one of these. I don't even know what they call. You put the headset on and you go into a different world kind of thing. And I thought, wow, this is brilliant. And I thought, if this is the future, there's no need for us anymore. You know what I mean? I think I'm very worried about all that. Very worried about people not having work. All our jobs are going to get taken up by robots. I'm terrified. And it made rugby a bit more. I don't think I fancy it. But no, I mean, like you say, the technology's there, and we're not far off now from some massive advances, I think, where everything's just going to be virtual, and you won't have to move out your house to do whatever it is you need. So good advance, but I dare say it's a bit of fun.
Yeah, I think the thing you're worried about is when you drop your phone might get up and drop you. that might be the thing to worry about, Parker. But you know what I did? Just out of curiosity, I asked it about our podcast, and this is what it said. It said, Devil in the Detail, SRD, Salford Red Devils in brackets, is a weekly podcast that discusses all things related to Salford Red Devils Rugby League. The podcast features interviews with players, coaches and other important figures in the world of Rugby League. It also includes analysis, predictions and discussions about the team performances, upcoming matches and other Rugby League news. The podcast is hosted by Rob Parkinson, Paul Whiteside and Parker, who are all passionate Salford Red Devils fans. They bring fun and informative perspective to the show and provide insights into the team's performances that only true fans can provide. So, Devil in the Detail SRD is a must-listen for any Salford Red Devil fan or Rugby League enthusiast looking for entertaining and informative podcast about one of the UK's top Rugby League teams.
Well, I mean, I literally don't think we could have put it any better. Maybe technologies that's fine. Just get it on here and take over from me now. That's really good. I've never seen it like that before. It's very good. Get that in the papers.
Yeah, and another the other bit. The last couple of weeks, it hasn't been me. It's been me bot doing this, not me. No, it has. What? But yeah, go on.
That could explain the Paul Whiteside being missing all the time.
True. Because I've got the ground to have tools. But yeah, so that was amazing. That blew my mind. So that's what I've been doing today. So there's loads to go at this week. Obviously, going to look back at the Wakefield win. Look at all the big news coming out of the club this week. Whiteside's World of Rugby League, and then we're going to preview the Wigan game on Friday night. So we'll start with the Wakefield win on Sunday. So Salford Devils beat Wakefield in golden point extra time. Mark Sneed drop goal was enough to see Salford win 14 points to 13. Parker, I mean, obviously the game wasn't a thriller, but it went right to the wire.
Yeah, you could say that. I must admit, I was very, very disappointed with the whole thing, really. Not just, I mean, I thought our performance was way off. And I think if we'd have played anybody with a little bit of confidence behind them the other day, we wouldn't have picked up the 2 points. I mean, we stretched it as far as we could. We looked, I don't know, there was something I don't know what it was. I mean, personally, I think, and I may be wrong, and Paul Rowland probably never speak to me again for saying this, but I thought we looked, I think we underestimated Wakey a little bit. And I don't think we give them full respect. I thought we could just tear them apart by throwing the ball about without earning the right to get into positions to win the game. It's okay. We've got the ball. We'll score. We can do this. We're not. You know what I mean? We're not the best team in the world. We're great at what we do, but there's a lot of things we don't do well. And we caused ourselves a lot of problems. Had to do a lot of defending because of sloppy ball handling, and I think we just got carried away. I think the week before won't have helped us. You know, when you go and putting 60 points on a decent team like Hull, and you got Wakey coming, not score for 3 weeks. You know, does it get to? But I don't know. I could be way off. You know, I don't want to question the players in their, you know, what they do, because you know you don't want someone walking into your workplace telling you, you know, you don't know what you're doing. But it was just the whole game for me. The both teams, the refereeing performance, the crowd. I thought it was all very disappointing as an event.
For me though, Parker, it's a game we usually lose. So for us to win shows that, you know, we have made progress in this journey that we're on. It wasn't fantastic rugby. It wasn't, you know, flowing rugby. We ground a result out. The 3 victories we've had so far this season, 3 different types of win. You went to Lee in the Bear Pit and won. You went to Hull, played Champagne Rugby and won. And then when it got tough against Wakefield, partly from our own errors, which we'll go on to in a bit, we managed to find a way. And that's, for me, shows positivity that, you know, if we have to find a way to win differently, we can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a win's a win at the end of the day, and at the end of the season, we'll look at them, you know, the league table, and them 2 points will be on there. That's all. You know, you could ask me this time next year, and I'll have forgotten about that game because it was very forgettable. But at the end of the day, if we finish in the playoffs just by the 2 points that we got on Sunday, then I'm happy with that. I think it reminded me very much of the old KR game. A game that I thought early on, we're in control here, we look good, we look slick. And then the ball went to ground so many times. And against Hull KR, who were a fairly decent team, and they did have players missing that day as well, but they punished us for it. Wakefield, and in that kind of, they've got players missing, Wakefield as well. They've not got the confidence. They're not as good a team as Hull KR. And they, you know, so we got away with it a little bit there. And I agree with what you're saying. You know, there've been 3 different wins, and it doesn't matter how you win, just win. And on the point of that, they're the games we usually lose. I think in the last few years, I think we've had the edge in that kind of game. I think we have come out on top in recent years. Years gone by, yeah, we'd have crumbled. We probably wouldn't have got to golden point because they'd have scored with a minute to go, and you know, and took the game away from us. Seen it so many times and last minute defeats. So we are a different animal now. There's no doubt about it. And I think it shows how far we've come. That I am disappointed that we've won a game, you know, with a drop goal. It should be exciting. It should be edge of the seat stuff. But I mentioned to you off air that even when the drop goal went over, I didn't feel joy, or it was more of a right, it's over. You know what I mean? I don't know. I didn't get that euphoric feeling I get when we win or when we even score. I was relieved. I think that's all it was. That we'd scrape through it, because, like you say, it's still in your mind. You're thinking they could take this. If we don't get this drop goal, they've got 6 to get down the other end and have a crack themselves. And they were making big meters, Wakey. They were really punishing us. I think we'd shown a bit of fatigue. Obviously, losing players week in, week out, and having to bring players in who, you know, Matty Costello and Addy and people like that who haven't played a lot, it is going to take it out of them. So at the end of the day, it is a win. But I think it was your first taste of rugby league. You probably think twice about going again.
Yeah, obviously looking through the timeline, Salford opened the scoring with Costello. Great try from him. Lovely work from Ryan Braley. Sends him through the hole to score. Obviously, I like to call him 8 out of 10 Costello, because he comes in and does a great job, and proves that on Sunday.
Absolutely. I thought he had a good game. I thought he had a really solid game for a lad that doesn't play very often. In the time he's been with us, I mean, he's been with us, 3-4 years. He's been out on loan more than he's played for the first team. But he doesn't let you down, does he? I mean, when he was at Saints, he's a good, promising player. So he's definitely got that in him. He's a good player to have in your squad. And he came in the other day, did not, nothing wrong. Like he admitted himself in one interview that I listened to, that he, towards the last back end of the game, he was feeling it, and he will do. But he still did his job well. And it was a good try, that, and that's what I think got us a bit excited as well, because we saw that flowing rugby again. We thought, oh, here we go. This is, he's on this. We could put a score on him. But obviously it didn't quite turn out that way.
Yeah, and obviously Wakefield hit back with a try, forward pass a mile.
Yeah.
But these things, it's all swings and roundabouts in it. Some decisions you get, some you don't. But Wakefield hasn't scored in 3 games, so we'll give them that one.
Yeah, I think. Well, one of the things we'd all said before the game was, there's one thing for sure, that even though they haven't scored for 3 games, they were going to score on Sunday. They were going to score against us, whether it was 1 or 5 tries. They were going to score at least 1. It just had to happen. But yeah, it was forward. I've seen it back. It's definitely forward. There's no, I can't. The linesman's right there watching it as well. I don't understand. And the linesmen I noticed on Sunday were referees as well, weren't they? Because there was nothing else on the Super League game, so they should be able to do better. But I thought, we can talk about it in a bit, but I thought some of the decisions were absolutely baffling. Not sure. I think rules were being made up as they went along, but but Wakefield worked hard to get themselves into them positions, quite a lot during the game, and that was just, it was a lovely play to get them to that position. A great ball out to the wing and then back inside. It was lovely rugby, but it was a forward pass.
Yeah. So at that point, Ben Park, it became a bit of an arm wrestle. Wakefield had tried disallowed. We had a chance with cross, and then Wakefield did score. Kick to the corner, error, and Reese Lynn went over in the corner. Wakefield were in front. And I was thinking, oh, here we go.
Yeah, we seem to have a real Achilles heel off kicks. We concede a lot of tries from short kicks or anything towards our line. We don't. When a team's a distance out, I don't feel any, like we tear teams apart doing that. We can score from our own half. Don't see that a lot with other teams. But when they get near our line, I think we analyse how many tries we've conceded this year and how many have actually come off kicks. That's quite a worrying, maybe something that, other teams have targeted with us. I thought it was a poor try to concede, really, that one. Unlike the first one, where I think Wake had worked, hard to get over the line. We kind of gifted at them, and we don't want to be doing that. And again, that's where I think that intensity wasn't quite there with us. I don't think the week before, I don't think they scored that. So, but yeah, Wakefield have worked hard enough to get themselves in the game, and off the back of our errors, I took the lead.
Yeah, so we had to find our way back in, which we did. I think we had 4 kind of sets on their line. They turned over the ball a couple of times. We built pressure, and Chris Atkin dummied over from dummy half to go over and put us in front, bang on the Utah.
Yeah, a bit of smart play from Chris. I thought he had another good game, by the way. Yeah, and it was kind of, brother turned to me at half time, just as we went over, and the guy sits on the other side of me. A guy comes down from Rochdale, brought his full family this week, and they both sort of said, we've stolen that half. We you know what I mean? I don't think we deserve to be going in leading at that point. But obviously you take it. But yeah, it was a bit. I think Wakefield would be disappointed with that, and I think that highlighted a lot of their problems this year. It was quite. It was well played by Chris Atkin, but I think it was a fairly simple try that you would expect to keep out. But Chris has got that in his game. He's a canny player, and yeah. So there was relief there, and I thought from that point on, right, we'll come out in the second half, we'll kick on now. At Hull the week before, we scored 2 tries in the first couple of minutes of the second half, and I kind of expected something similar. Thought we'd get hold of the game at that point, but as we'll discuss, we just didn't push on.
Yeah, we're joined by Paul Whiteside, the real Paul Whiteside, not a AI bot. How are you doing, Paul?
Hiya, Rob. Hiya, Parky. Yeah, will the real Paul Whiteside please stand up? Please stand up. You all right?
Yeah, good.
Well.
Just talking about the second half against Wakefield. For me, Paul, it was Wakefield were kind of happy just to roll down the middle, looking for tight defenders or lazy defenders, and our forwards didn't give them anything, and they weren't particularly threatening. I don't think, we were happy for them to sort of drive five and sort of kick to us, and we were happy to bring the ball back, and we just kept, unfortunately, turning the ball over sort of near their 20, near their line, and that kind of happened for like 15 minutes in that second half.
Yeah, I thought Wakefield throughout the match defended really well. I felt they played like a team that was nervous because they'd not scored a point for 3 matches. I think they were desperate. They were a team that was pretty desperate, really. I think they were very conservative because they were frightened to make a mistake. I think they really, really just wanted to get a result, didn't they? I think they'd settle for a draw. I never really felt that threatened about them scoring loads of points. I mean, they took the 2 tries well that they scored, but in that second half, they sort of went through the motions and didn't really offer much. But without sounding like a bit of a snob, I thought they didn't slow it down, but they did and they didn't. But that's part and parcel of the game. I'm not moaning about that because I think it's your right to slow it down. But if you know what I mean, they didn't want us to play at a quick tempo because they obviously knew they'd done their own work on us. I think watching that whole game, and they definitely. I think you've got to hand it to their coach. I think he got his tactics spot on. Obviously, they didn't get the result, but I thought they deserved the draw. I thought for large parts of that game, they were the better side for me, and I thought we got out of jail a bit in that second half. I thought we bombed a lot of chances that we had. Poor game really, but I think a draw would have been a fair result.
When you say you think they were the better team, I don't agree with that because they didn't seem to threaten us. All they were happy to do was just come down the middle and kick and look for an error, and there was nothing. You got the penalty, which is a bit dubious for me, and then obviously we got into drop goal territory then. So we were the aggressor. We were strong in defence. We were trying to open Wakefield up. But I don't understand how you think they were the better side throughout.
I don't know. I thought they put a lot into the game. I thought they defended pretty well. Thought they scored 2 good tries, and maybe they weren't. And then maybe I'm feeling sorry for them a bit, but I don't know. I just didn't think we were that good. I thought we were poor. I thought we made poor options. I think there was a time in that second half where we should have kicked a penalty, and we wouldn't have had any of that hoo-hahing about the drop goals and that because we'd all won the game. For me, that was a given. It was a tight game. You bang in front of the sticks, you take the 2 points, and I think that almost bit us on the backside. That. So perhaps I am being a bit kind to Wakefield. I just felt a bit sorry for him because it was one of those games where I'm not a big fan of this golden point. I think when you've got 2 sides going at each other there after the 80 minutes, I think it should be a draw. But no, I was delighted we got the result because for me, if we'd have lost the game, you've just won by 60 points at Hull, and then you lose that game. It's like taking a real leap forward and then 2 steps backwards. So it'd have been frustrating because what's the point going winning by 60 against Hull and then losing at home to Wakefield? It really does. It really sort of stops that momentum. So now we've got that result. You're going to Wigan flying with 2 wins under your belt. So at the end of the game, like we spoke to Paul Rowley, he wasn't really bothered about the performance. It was the 2 points. It was getting the win, and that's what it's all about at the moment, isn't it? So without waffling on, I thought it was a bit of we got dragged back down to earth a little bit by Wakefield, but I think we were playing a desperate Wakefield team. They'd not scored, as I said, for 3 matches. They were desperate. So to get the win, I think is a good one.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on that second half back? I thought the longer it goes on, more nerves set in.
I do kind of agree with Paul that I thought Wakefield were actually better. That's why I'm saying at the end of the first half, when we went in at half-time winning, we'd stolen it. At the end of the game, we all said, I think we've nicked that. I think we've stolen that game from Wakefield. Not that, because both teams were poor, but in that second half, we were very much one-man rugby, boring Sean McRae style stuff. And I think we'd learned from the first half, because we just kept dropping the ball, that might be the way to go. But I didn't see anything that kind of excited me from us. I don't think we were that good at all. I'm not saying I'm saying Wakefield might have been marginally better. I'm not. There's no real difference between the two, except that they're the away side and we're supposed to be fourth in the table. So I think somebody said to me after the game, if you're a Wakefield fan, you're walking away from that game going, hang on, how are these fourth in the table and we're bottom without a win? Because there wasn't anything between the teams, really. I thought we were. I think we just run out of ideas. I mean, I don't. I don't think that the halfbacks end up creating an awful lot, which is a worry. Obviously, again, going back to our forwards, we know we haven't got big forwards. So when we're trying to drive it out, we're not getting very far. The one player that we missed massively, strangely enough, was Tim Laffey, because he causes havoc in defences. When he gets the ball, he does make meters. He gets you on a front foot. We get a quick play the ball. I thought that was slow. And again, like Paul said, maybe that was them slowing us down and not being punished perhaps for that. I don't know. And it's a tactic we could have used, because there was that many times where Wakefield seemed to get the run on us a little bit at play the ball. Liam Hood, until he went off, I thought would cause us a few problems. But overall, look, it wasn't a great game. As I said before, it kind of reminded me of the old KR game, but this time we got away with it. And at the end of the day, it's 2 points. So as long as Paul Roll is happy with what he's got out of it, that's all that matters now. It's one for the history books, isn't it? I'd rather, like I said to you before, Rob, I wouldn't dream of watching it again. I think it was that poor.
Yeah, I'm willing to die on this hill, though, lads, because our turnover balls happened being aggressive. We threw the ball into touch once. Rhys Williams dropped the ball over the line once. We knocked the ball. I think Costello kind of tried to basketball pass it to Ryan Briley 10 metres out, called it for a forward pass. So every kind of penalty or thing, we gave the ball back to Wakefield. We were the aggressor, and our defence was quite solid. Wakefield would just, like I say, wanted to come forward, making 40 yards, kicking deep, looking for something out of nothing, if that makes sense. But obviously, we all watch the game, don't we? We all see it differently. But I think obviously looking at the big refereeing decisions, the Shane Wright try, a lot of sort of controversy on that. I've seen it again. The bomb goes up, Wright's onside, Kay spills the ball, and then Wright picks up a score. There's nothing there, Paul, for me to say why that try was disallowed.
Joke decision, Rob. Forgot about that. Yeah, that I thought it was play on to try. I don't know where he got that one from. It was a disappointing decision again. Again, it's a lack of consistency from referees, isn't it? I mean, you get it all the time, don't you? I mean, what was wrong with that drop goal anyway? Sneed's last one, did it not go over that? Because I thought that went over. Did somebody touch it? Because I thought that rule had changed.
The Dupree one.
No, the last drop goal. That's
I'll come to that in a minute.
Right.
What was your thought, Parky, on the right one? Because obviously, my only thought was Kay was on his knees, so there might be some sort of weird sort of 1.3 rule that says if you're on your knees when you knock on, you've got to stop the play, or something weird like that no one ever kind of remembers. Maybe.
No, the referee just got it completely wrong.
Okay.
Unless, see, I've not seen it back, but unless Kay has touched that ball twice, or a Wakefield player has touched it after Kay has, that ball's still live. Right, picks it up and goes over. That's a try. It's only killed when the ball's dead, when it's touched twice, or unless one of our players knocks it on at the same point. We know all that. So, but none of that appeared to have happened. Like I say, I've not seen it back, but on first viewing, Kay's dropped that ball cold. We've picked it up and scored. The referee was too keen to give the knock on, but he's got it wrong. He's got to let the play go on. There was no other reason for it to go back. It's just a stupid decision and one that one of many that the referee made. I couldn't make sense of half of his rules. Couple for Wakefield as well. I'm not just saying it was against us. There was one in the first half where it was clearly a dropout to Wakefield, and he gave us a tap on the 20, and everyone around us was saying, "Well, we've just put that ball out on purpose." But for some reason, he took it back, and I was like, well, "You can't, Sometimes you get a referee who you think, has he got it in for us? Is there something about this? Not with this guy. I just didn't think he had a clue. I don't think he really knew what he was doing. He was out of his depth a little bit."
When you said he touched it twice, does it have to hit the floor or not? Because I've watched it back, and I think he might kind of try and catch it and then fumble it as forward. But
if he's regathered it, if he's not touched another player, then he's not knocked off.
Right.
If he tries to catch it, it bounces out his hand, touches another player, and goes back in his hand. That's a knock on.
Yeah.
So, but then he's dead. But no, if that's not happened, and nobody's actually said to me that that's what's happened. So.
No, it kind of came off his chest onto his fingertips onto the floor, and then picks up and scores.
It's play on.
Right. Okay. So that's fine. So second one, the Sneed drop goal. Paul, you obviously you said about that. The reason that one was disallowed was Tyler Dupree wasn't stood up when he played the ball.
Right, okay.
Which is the correct decision.
Yeah, well, whatever. But I just thought, why has it not been given? Because it went through the post. So I didn't realise. I thought there'd be some sort of discrepancy because someone said to me in the crowd, "Oh, it might perhaps because someone's either touched the ball, it was going over." But I thought that rule had changed where it didn't make any odds. But that explains it then. That's cool.
Yeah. Because at the time when I was commentating, I celebrated, and then he pulled it back, and I was thinking, well, what's he give it for, Parker? And he didn't. There was no there was a signal, but it didn't really make it clear that Dupree wasn't standing straight when he played it. I think sometimes referees just give us a better signal so people know, why stuff is given.
Absolute nail on the head, Rob. That was the worst thing on Sunday. The referee was giving decisions, and nobody in the ground had a clue what he'd give it for.
Yeah.
Now, if he explains that he's seen something or he thinks he's seen something, then that's fine. That you can't do anything about that. The thing is about the Dupree thing is that how many players during that game didn't play the ball correctly? It happened a lot for both sides, but it happened a lot, and nobody got pulled up, or very rarely. And then when this one of the most important ones, he spots it and gives it. Yeah, well, be consistent.
Yeah.
Give it from the first minute to the last, or don't give it at all. But you can't make your moments when you think you can give a decision. Would he have given it for if it hadn't gone over, or would have played on? Would he have actually gone back for it? I don't think he would. I think he'd have just said play on.
Yeah, I just think what it was, he just wasn't in control. He kind of played it, falling at the same time, which is, the right decision. We have to make a decision. But if referee doesn't signal that correctly, the crowd are all looking at you saying, well, why is he not give it? And that's the problem with not having TV or screens at every match, because you could look at the screen and say, oh, that's why he's not give it yourself. Because if you don't have a screen there, everyone's looking at everyone else thinking, so I don't understand why that's not given. But correct decision, one correct decision, one wrong decision, which is 50-50, which is, I suppose, what being human, that's what we can nearly expect. So we're in drop goal world then now, with Sneed and Lino popping goals with trying to pop goals, both of them. You're not a big fan of this golden point thing, are you, Paul?
I don't know. I just it's another thing we've got from Australia, isn't it? I mean, a draw's a draw, isn't it? At the end of the day, you both played 80 minutes. I mean, perhaps for cup games and that, but for league games, why aren't we having draws? No, I don't know. I asked Paul Rowley and Danny Addy after the game, and they both said, "Oh yeah, I love it." But yeah, because we've won. So no, I don't know. I've seen some cracking games before that have ended up in draws, but I don't know. I'm a bit undecided tonight, really. I was just chuckling to what you'd said there about the referee with his 50-50. I thought, God, if I got 50-50 at work, I'd get sacked.
You'll keep it pretty warm though, Paul, so you can't keep one person warm, one person cold.
Yeah, so no, golden point. I mean, I think that game was exciting. There's no doubt about that. That sort of last 5 or 10 minutes of the game, it was on a knife edge one. It was really thrilling. When we dropped that goal, there was only one thing Wakefield had in their minds when they got the ball back, was you drive to the post and drop a goal. They just wanted something out of that game. They were desperate, wanted for anything. When we went to the extra time, as soon as they knocked on, you knew that ball was going to go to Sneed. And I think that's the beauty of having Mark Sneed in your team. He's such a talisman. I mean, his goal kicking's tremendous. And if he gets half a sniff of a drop goal, it's so measured the way the ball goes back to him. There's no flapping it. He never sort of scuffs it. It's going over as soon as he gets that ball. So yeah, I think in that sort of situation, we're quite well looked after with Mark Sneed in the team.
Yeah, I think the best thing about Mark Sneed, Parkett, is Lino misses his attempt at a drop goal, goes dead, so we have to start on our 20. And at that point, he's screaming at everybody to calm down, because he wants everyone's blood pressure to go down and heart rate to go down, because in that situation, it's cool heads that win the war, Parkett. And I think obviously you go the other end, he misses, which is fine, but then he has the I'm going to say the kahoolas to go again. Next time we get within 15, 20 meters of the goal, he demands the ball and he goes again, and that shows sort of what he's all about and dealing with that pressure.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did miss one. I think going on the Golden Point thing. By the way, I'm not a massive fan when it comes to a league game. I think, like we've said there, I think Wakefield deserved something out of that game. And if we go to Wigan on Friday night and it's all level at full time, we'd be absolutely buzzing. And then you go, oh yeah, but we're actually Wigan get a drop goal in the first second of the Golden Point. You worked all that time away at a place like Wigan and come away with nothing. I mean, it seems a bit harsh to me, and I don't know, it's not in our culture, but that's the way it is. Yeah, Sneed, we mentioned it the week before, and a few times. He's grown up. He's developed that much now. He's not just a playmaker. He's not a kicker. He's an all-round quality halfback who leads us around the park, and he's exactly what we need. And I think he's. I just think he's grown so much. I know he's in his 30s and he should do, but he's a much better player now. Even I think he plays better now for us than he did for Hull, and that's a bold statement for a man that's won a couple of Lance Todd trophies. But my only concern was when it got into Golden Point or towards the end, and people were trying to drop goals all over, was that you get a 7 tackle set, and we weren't getting out of our half. We were struggling to the halfway, and I thought we're going to have to do something special. And it turned out to be an error from Wakefield that got us past the halfway line, because I was terrified. I don't think we'd have got out of our own half, and Wakefield would have had a six tackle set in our half, and that would have killed us. So it came at the right time. That I think we got out of jail a little bit, but having someone like Sneedy in the team it gives you everything. I mean, if we'd have got a penalty, you'd have backed him all day to boot it. So no matter how you're going to win the game, you're going to win it. So that was at the end of the day, he's done his job. What I would have liked to have seen is a little bit of variation, though, because it was set up so much that Mark Sneed's dropping this, that everyone's going to charge out at Mark Sneed. Maybe stick a Ryan Braley at the side and make him think, hang on a minute, who's getting this? Where's Brodie Croft in all this? It was kind of, and I was like, they're going to give it Sneed, I know where it's going. And if I know where it's going, they know where it's going. But he was just that far back on that drop goal. And did he wallop that? He hit it that hard. He's only 10 yards out. I think it's gone over the Barton flyover. Give it a proper crack. But yeah, he saved the day, as he has done many times for all the clubs he's played for. And he's a real asset to have in our team, isn't he?
He's ice cold. And that's what it is. That's pressure. And that's why we got him. That's why we obviously brought him in, because in pressure situations, I do. Don't get me wrong, Parky. I do like, when they fake, but if you fake, you've got to score. Because if you don't, then you're turning the ball over.
Not even that, but someone to be there. to take a drop goal anyway.
Mm.
You know, if you're going for your point, well, you're not setting up out wide. It doesn't matter because everybody knows where it's going.
Mm.
So why don't you put 2 or 3 bodies there and let them go? Well, which one of these is getting this ball?
Yeah.
There was no diversion tactic. It was just Mark Sneed's getting that. Go and get him. Sneed, again, like I say, he knows where to be. He knew where to be positioned, just how far out, you know. And when I'm saying this, I'm not trying to criticise. I'm just throwing in a little thing that I'd like to see. But at the end of the day, didn't matter. It went over. We got the points.
Yeah, I think once we did it with, is it Inu? I think we did a fake, and him and I think it might have been, I don't know really, was it may have been Hastings or someone, and they just switched it and he dropped the goal or something like that. You know what I mean? That I suppose it depends on how you set up really, but like you say, Mark Sneeze, he just knows how to do it, doesn't he? So he's like an artist. He knows who's going to get the ball, where he's going to go, and he just positions himself in the right position and give me the ball and I'll do the rest. And that's what it is. That's what it's all about. Paul, you spoke this experience of a golden point extra time win.
Yeah, I thought he was at the Salford when we beat Hull KR that time in 2019. We beat them it was the last regular league game of the season before the playoffs. I'm sure he was at Salford then, but perhaps he must have been. He must have forgot about that one. I think we won 17-16, didn't we, at home to them? So yeah, he was pleased with the result, though, wasn't he? And why not? Because it was a tough game. It was one of them. You're not gonna. I come away from the game talking to our Imogen, and she said, "Oh, we weren't as good last week as last week, were we, Dad?" And I said, "Well, in rugby league, I said you're not going to get 2 weeks the same like that. Not everything's going to come off every week, and other teams are going to come and play different tactics, and it doesn't always pan out like that, does it? That you're going to get 60 odd points every week, and you lose form as well, don't you? And things like that. So yeah, I was just pleased to get the result, and I think Paul Rowles is the same because now it gives us the chance to go and have a crack at Wigan, doesn't it? And what a victory that would be if we could get over the hill there.
Yeah. Looking at the stats, Parker, top tacklers, Callum Watkins 47, Andy Ackers 43, Tyler Durpree 33, Shane Wright 44, and Adam Sidlow 37.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. There was a lot of defending to do, and a lot of sort of those crucial ones, them one-on-one ones that need to be made. I thought Callum Watkins defensively was awesome the other day. I really did. I think he stood out for that. And then again, I'm glad someone like Shane Wright, who's a real unsung hero every single week. He's one of them players you need in your team that does that filthy work, and his work rate is incredible as well. So. Yeah, I thought there'd be a lot of defending this week. Last week, I think we read the stats out, and I think 20 odd was the most any player did. So it just shows the difference in the game as well. But no, them lads, they work so hard. And considering we had players like Danny Addy and Matty Costello and people like that, like I mentioned before, who haven't played much. There's a lot of work to be picked up by other players to help them guys out, and they did that well.
Yeah, looking at the top meter makers, Paul, Ken CO 170, Callum Watkins 116, King V 74, Tyler Durpree 94, Shane Wright 78, Adam Sidlow 135, Reece Williams 122, Dion Cross 104, and Matty Costello 88. For me, I thought Adam Sidlow was wonderful on Sunday again. Said last week. But I said to Parker last week, someone must steal his halftime orange because he comes out, plays like a man possessed. Think it happened again on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I criticised him a bit after the Warrington game because I thought he was poor at Warrington. I thought he looked off the pace, he looked his age, and then I ate my words really because last week at Hull I thought he was one of our best forwards. I thought he'd come on, he offloaded the ball really well. He was every opportunity he got, he was trying to offload it, and then I was dead impressed with him again against Wakefield. I thought he'd come on, and he run the ball in hard. He was running the ball in harder than anybody. And I tell you what, I don't like slagging players off, and I'm not going to slag players off. But this week at Wigan, King Vuniaiwa and Jack Armonride need to pull the fingers out because I thought they were both poor against Wakefield. The big blokes, they've got to take that ball in hard. You've got to run it in hard. Do your job. That's all you've got to do. Just drive that ball in hard. And Adam Sidlow did that. He's not on there to win matches and throw worldly passes out. He's on there to do his job, and he did his job in abundance. I was really impressed with him. So yeah, I thought he was poor against Warrington, but I think you've got to give him a bit of slack, really, because he'd not played for ages. So perhaps I was being a bit harsh on him there at Warrington, because I think he's been great since, and did really well. Top forward.
Yeah. As long as someone keeps eating that orange on him, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Parky, obviously, 4 players in both lists: Callum Watkins, Tyler Dupree, Shane Wright, Adam Sidlow. Obviously, it's great. Obviously, you have a nucleus of a team that are both sort of making your meters and making the tackles. It sort of helps the team, doesn't it?
Yeah, very much so. And you're going to get that. You always get players like that. I mean, Tyler Dupree, we mentioned him last week. I know we mentioned most players last week, to be fair, but he's just been outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. His work rate is he's superb. He makes meters when he takes it in. And like you just said there, his defence is obviously, on point as well. I think he's just been a real star this year. And again, we've lost players from the pack, Ollie Partington, Alec Gerrard, people like that, who would help do that kind of work. And he's taking it on himself a little bit to do more. And I think the more I see of him, the more I think he's going to be international quality. He's just got it. I agree with what Paul said about 2 of the other props on Sunday. Just something missing, something not right from him the other day. I don't know whether I don't know. You don't know what goes on in training. They could be they could be carrying knocks. It could be ill. Could be anything on the day. It just doesn't go your way. But they didn't have the impact that I would have liked. But the other guys really stood up for him. And if you can do that and cover for a couple of players every now and then, when you're all firing, that's it's going to be a great sign.
Yeah. So big thanks for your 3-word match reports and man of the matches. Nicholas Fletcher, below par performance, Costello. Patrick Conley, ground it out, Costello. R.S. Richmond, nowhere near Costello. Les Keenan, 2 points, Atkins. Dave H, too many mistakes, Sneed. Salford Red, never in doubt, Sneed. Clarkey squad players, indifferent, Sneed. Jill Winston, that was hard. Craig Carter wins a win, Sneed. KDL, my 3-word was Costello, Dupree, Sidlow. That's clever. Art B, poor home farm, Sidlow. Stephen Warrington, worst game ever. It was a tough watch, we'll say. Anita, so very boring, Costello. Jacob Gallagher, lackluster attack, shocking, Sidlow. I think it's a bit harsh, that Parky. Lackluster.
Yeah, I think, like I said at the start, I don't know, and I might be massively wrong and talking completely out of tune here, but I think more attitude than ability on Sunday. I think we might have got into the game not as focused, perhaps, or certain players may not have been as switched on, thinking, it's not Hull away this week, it's Wakefield at home, we'll be okay. And that's not what good teams do. And I understand what he's saying when he says lackluster. I think it's probably a little bit harsh, but I think we have to give Wakey a lot of credit for their efforts as well. But like you said before, Rob, it's a game of opinions, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's how you see the game.
Mike Murphy, exciting last 10 minutes. Liam Miles off Costello. Anthony Lancashire, scruffy wins count, Sneed. Wayne, no, I'm not going to fall for that one. Stuart Smart wins a win, Costello. Andy Smith wanted to go home, Dupree. Colin Wilson, very ugly win. Atkin. Richard Morton, pretty poor, Costello. Ben Wheeler, not very good, Costello. Colin Reynolds were awful, Sidlow. Tony Frame, nail-biting finish, Sneed. Chairman Bob, scruffy, horrible win, Shane Wright. Steve Whitehouse, very scrappy game. Your mate Paul Roy Ellaby, worse than Rovers, Costello. OSF, glad it's over, Costello. Parky, you said we got lucky, Dupree and Natalie Taylor, drop goals galore, Costello. So it's a bit of a mixture there, Paul, of people who wanted to go home and people that were happy that we got a result.
Yeah, I wanted to go home. We got beat by 90 at Bradford. Not when we're winning at home to Wakefield. I mean, these are the games you want to see, aren't they? But one thing I will say, I mean, at the end of the day, you can score 60 points at Hull, you get 2 points. You beat Wakefield by a point at home, you get 2 points. If we finish in that top 6, top 4 or whatever, that 2 points is vital. You've just got to get the win. You can't roll up to a game every week. St. Helens are finding this out. You can't go every week and tonk teams with 40 points. It doesn't work. Teams will play different. Teams will frustrate you. Teams will play different tactics. Your passes won't come off. Look at the Hull KR game at home. We tried to play the way we did against Hull, but it didn't come off. Against Hull, it came off. So I think if you're playing this sort of game that Paul really likes us to play, when it comes off, yeah, it's wonderful, but it doesn't always work. It doesn't always come off, and you've got to find a plan B. And I think that's what we're finding at the moment. We're struggling to sort of find that plan B. And I think when we do, we'll be. We did do. We got through the game. We got the win. But that's the secret, isn't it, to a good side? You know, getting past your opponents, like any sport, you're a boxer or whatever, you're fighting such a body, you can't beat him that way. You've got to beat him. It's all about tactics, isn't it, and about how you deal with your opponent and your opposition. So no, I was delighted when we got the win, because somebody said to me on the way out, 2 years ago, we'd have lost that game. And I thought, yeah, you're probably right. We might have done so. So the 2 points is all that matters.
Said that to, is it Mark Wilson? As we left, I said that it's a game you usually lose. And he just looked at me and nodded. So, just like I say, we're all in this. We all know, like Parky said last week, Parky, we looked at this Wakefield fixture and thought, well, here we go, banana skin, and we managed to avoid the skin, and we still didn't fall over.
Yeah, it's exactly what we all thought, wasn't it? And we shouldn't have been thinking that way. And in the end, it worked out that we were right to think that way. I think what Paul's just said there. I think we said, most of that earlier on as well, that it's. It's a case of winning. When if we make the playoffs, we'll just look at that as another 2 points. And I, as I've said earlier on as well, that I won't remember that game in a few months' time. I hope I don't remember it next week. But it's over now. It's gone. It's in the history books. We've won. However you win it, you win it. And I think listening to them man of the match things there, I do agree. I do agree with the wanting to go home thing. In terms of what I said to you earlier on, that I didn't feel that explosion that I thought I would when the drop goal went over. I wasn't. I'd kind of just gone, relief, thank God for that. Now can we go, sort of thing, and obviously now I think about it, I think, well, realistically, was it that bad? And I just think it just lost its edge. The ground lost the crowd had lost their atmosphere. It killed everything off, I think, and it just made for a dull afternoon. And again, I'll go back on what I said. I think both teams were fairly average, let's say, and the referee was as bad. So it didn't make for a great entertaining afternoon. But again, we won. We'll move on.
A win is a win. That's all that matters. So let's move on to the other results from last week, Parker. The reserves were beaten by Wakefield after the main event. They lost 40-0. Stuart Wilkinson's boys. We know obviously where they are in their development. Wakefield just bigger, more organised, unfortunately. But I'm sure the boys will learn from that and come back stronger.
Yeah, like I say, we stayed and watched a bit of it, and it was. Yeah, it was definitely that. You could see Wakefield were better. I wouldn't say not drilled as such, but they looked more of a team. They looked like they knew each other. We were a little bit patchy. I think in the first sort of 10 minutes, I think we might have knocked on twice. We tried a short drop out that didn't go to 10. They gathered the ball, a few meters out from your line. It just seemed like there was no cohesion with our lads, unfortunately. And Wakefield were just slicker and, like I say, bigger and a little bit quicker. But these are the things we've got to learn from. Sometimes it takes a tough lesson to make you better, to make you stronger. And I'm sure they'll look back on that and I've learned quite a lot about themselves. And it's how you bounce back now. It was a tough defeat, but Wakefield, to the credit, did look quite good. So as bad as things look at Wakefield at the moment, with the first team, they've certainly got a lot to look forward to in the future.
Yeah, our PDRL team, Paul, played in their first festival in Wigan on a Sunday. They played 2 games. They played Casford, lost 18-14, but then played Hull and won 22-6. So what a great afternoon for them. 1 win, 1 defeat. But like you say, making memories, aren't they? And obviously, we've got a strong team now. I think it's like a complete Salford team rather than sort of other teams filling in for us as well, which shows how much progress that we've made.
Yeah, certainly. And I saw some of the photographs as well that were taken at the day, and everyone looked like they'd enjoyed it. And it looked like a good day. I mean, 1 win and the defeat's not that bad, is it? They're learning all the time and getting better and better, aren't they? And I think for the guys who are playing, they're enjoying themselves, aren't they? And it's great that we're representing our club. They can say they play for Salford, so how proud is that? You can go home and tell your family. So yeah, I'm sure there'll be more of those festivals coming up, especially now we get to the warmer months in the spring and the summer as well. So there's loads to look forward to. So yeah, congratulations to him on the win.
Yeah, Paul Jones Parky scored the first Salford try. Other try scorers: Justin Martin, Sean Begley Jones, Paul Jones, and Ben H. So obviously, like we've said, what an achievement. Obviously, they've got a great team there, and they're playing some good rugby too.
Yeah, really good. It's nice to see them back. There's a long gap between the last time they performed and now. I just hope the enjoyment's there. Do you know what I mean? There's no pressure on these guys. Just go and enjoy it. Enjoy the game, the inclusivity of rugby league. And it seems that no matter what animosity you have between fans, in a Super League game or whatever else, when these guys get to it, it's all gone. There's none of that. It's about the game. It's about rugby league. It's about meeting. It's about having fun. And that's, when you think about it, that's what sport should be. I think we forget about that. I mean, I've been moaning for the last half an hour about our first team on Sunday. Does it matter that way? No, these guys are showing us how it should be, and I can't wait for them, to get a game down at the Salford Stadium soon, so we can all come and watch them.
Yeah, super exciting stuff going on there. So that's the look at all the games this week, and now we'll look at all the big news coming out of the club. So we'll start, Parker, with the news from last week that Becky Davis, one of our ladies, has been appointed as North West Crusaders head coach, first ladies head coach in Wales. I think, obviously, what an achievement for her.
Absolutely. Well, I saw the story sort of, and I didn't read the full thing, but I thought, that's good. What a massive advance that is. A female coach of, a League One team. That's some effort. And then you told me this, that, she's one of our ladies. What an amazing achievement. I mean, this is real breakthrough stuff. And again, full credit to North Wales Crusaders for giving the opportunity. There's a lot of easier routes to go down. And well done to Becky for putting a name in the hat and a neck on the line. Because who'd be a head coach? It's unforgiving, really is. So no, brilliant. I wish her all the success. I know North Wales were pretty decent last year. They've had a tough start, but I hope she can do really well there, and it just opens doors now, doesn't it? It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. This is what this game's about, and I wish her all the very best, and I'll certainly be looking out for their scores every week.
Yeah, she's not injured. Sorry, she is injured, so she's not leaving. So that's why she's able to do this, which is great. Obviously, it helps Paul in her development. Obviously, being injured, you can go and help. The Crusaders down there. She's from Wrexham as well, so it's local to her.
Oh, yeah, and how good is that for your experience as well? You're getting there, first class experience of coaching, so you're going to learn loads of stuff. You're learning on the job, and that what you learn there, you're going to bring back to when you're playing as well. So yeah, it's groundbreaking, like Parky says, and it just shows you that if you're good enough to do the job, then you should be given the job.
Yeah. And it made big news. Well, Wrexham Radio covered it, and I listened to their programme about it, which was great. So yeah, good luck to Becky in that role. Other ladies' news, Parker, is 3 of our ladies have been selected to play. 2 to play for GB Teachers and 1 to play for UK Armed Forces. Tazka Koran and Helena Walker have been selected to play for GB Teachers, and Phoebe Partington has been selected to play for the UK and Armed Forces, who are playing against each other tonight.
Wow. Wow. I mean, how good is that? I mean, we mention them every week, the ladies, and how fantastic it was last year and the strides they've made. And now, 3 of them being recognised for the talent and picked in rep jerseys. I mean, that's fantastic. And it's like what Paul said there about Becky being at the Crusaders and what she'll learn from coaching that she can bring back. Again, these guys have gone off now. They're playing with other players, probably maybe more senior players that have been playing for a lot longer or whatever, and under different coaches. For more stuff they can bring back to us and put into our camp, ahead of what is going to be a massive season. So yeah, congratulations to them girls. It's a massive achievement, and another honour for our club.
Yeah, Phoebe Parton will have the bragging rights over the other 2, Paul, because UK Armed Forces ended up winning 14-10. But obviously, a great achievement for our 3 girls to be involved in such a game.
Yeah, certainly, and those bragging rights, I'm sure, will be getting spoken about now, won't they? So as they always do. But yeah, it's great that they're involved in that, and it's testament to them and a testament to the club at Salford as well that we've got people in these representative teams. It's just helps put us on the map just that little bit more, doesn't it?
Yeah, the club have put an offer out, Parkett, for season ticket holders +1, so 50% off someone else's ticket if you can persuade him to get to the Huddersfield game, which is great. Obviously, we need more offers, the better. Might entice a few more in.
Yeah, well, we need people to take up these offers. I don't think enough people do. I mean, we can help. We can get the word out there as fans. Just speak to people and just see. I'm doing it. I've already discussed with a couple of people about bringing them down or trying to get them down. I've just got to work out how it works with seats and so on, because obviously I've got a season ticket with my brother and my nieces and nephews all in one bit, and around us all the seats are taken. So obviously anyone I bring wouldn't be sat with me, and that makes it a little bit more awkward. So I've got to look into that. But yeah, it's a brilliant idea. Absolutely. We need bums on seats. We need people to get into into rugby league again, or come back to it. And if this is the way, I mean, a half-price ticket, it's brilliant. I think sometimes maybe the price does put people off, and it's not expensive to watch Salford. It really isn't, in terms of what other sporting events and other clubs charge. But if your budget is a little bit tight and you kind of, I don't know if I like rugby, or I don't know if I want to go, I don't know enough about it, whatever. This is a great way of introducing people, and I'm kind of hoping I can get maybe at least 10 people to come down with to join us with our season tickets, and if everybody did the same, because we know, I don't want to disrespect them, but I know Huddersfield won't be bringing thousands because they don't. So to make the stadium, make the atmosphere, and get people hooked. Because I think once you watch rugby league, except for last Sunday's game, if you can avoid that, well, you watch rugby league, you will get hooked. It is that kind of sport. It's brilliant. It's just getting people down there in the first place. And the club, again, needs to be commended for trying this. We could sit here now and go, well, that's it. Put our hands up. We're not getting any more fans. We can't win. We'll go along with the 4,000 every week. That'll do. Until someone throws us out of Super League, because that's what could happen. So we need people to start taking up these offers, and we as fans got to do our bit and spread the word.
Yeah, it's a bit of both for me, Paul. The club need to keep coming up with ideas, but like Parky said, the people of Salford need to be enticed in and decide to take the plunge. Two-way street. We'll keep going to the well. Hopefully, we'll get some water soon.
It's up to the people of Salford to go. If they want a rugby league team in the city, you've got to get behind it and implement support it, don't we? So, I mean, there's plenty of people who travel all over the show, don't they? I mean, I don't live anywhere near Salford anymore, but you still go every week, don't you? If you want to go, you'll go. So, the club can only do so much. They can't force you. The club can't come around your house and, bundle you in the back of a car and take you to the game. They can't, lad. So, I know you're laughing, but I mean, there's no use preaching to the converted. The people who go watching Salford go watching week in, week out. We know that because we take more or less the same home people go to the away games, don't we? So, I mean, we've spoke about that this season. We probably take more away from home as a proportion of our home support than any other club in the league. So we know that. So it's just getting people, lapsed people who used to go years ago. We've all laughed about it before. We've been in a taxi and taxi driver said to me, I used to go there years ago to the Willows and all that. These are the sort of people you need to get back there. And how you entice them, I don't know. I mean, the club put all sorts of offers on for Mother's Day and that. The club are working the socks off. And they can only do so much, can't they? So I think it's up to the if you want a club, you've got to go and support them, haven't you? So I think the club do loads. I think they really do. They've really... Last couple of years, the social media, the emails and all that, they're absolutely spot on with it. Yeah, I mean, we can slag them off in the past and say, oh, they've never told us about this, they've never told us about that, they never advertise anything. But I think they do a great job now. They do a great job in the community. We've only just been talking about the number of teams that we've got, the ladies team, the learning disabilities team, the physical disability. We're doing so much there. I mean, they can't do much more. I mean, we're not awash with money to employ loads and loads of people to work for us, have we? So yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. You're always going to have teams that have not got as much support as other. Me and Parker having a chat outside the ground before on Sunday, and we said like about Man United and Brighton and Burnley and all that. They've got different amounts of people watching them, and that's how rugby league's always going to be. And perhaps we'll never get crowds like what Leeds are getting, like what Wigan are getting, but if we can just get a few more. I mean, that's. I mean, I thought the crowd on Sunday, 4,700, was a decent crowd, and I've just been on my phone now trying to track the attendance for last year when we played Wakefield, because I reckon it was higher. I don't think we got 4,700 against Wakefield last season. So I think our crowds are slowly but surely creeping up.
Okay, so let me write that down then. Possible kidnap ? So it's it is a good thing. The talking about good things, Parker, the Rising Star campaign starts again in April. Year 10 and year 11 pupils can get involved in that, and part of the people in the programme now have been selected to play for the England Community Lions. Alfie Howe, Jack Reed, Jack Bibby, Dylan Hughes, Xavier De Charlie, Leo Morley and Ethan Gaffey have all been selected to play for the England Community Lions. So congratulations to them from everyone on the podcast.
Wow, I mean that's a lot of players from one club, like the 1970s tourists here now. No, brilliant. Again, the work that's gone on behind the scenes that people don't always see. I was going to have a little rant in a bit because I know there's something else coming up. So, but about this, but yeah, brilliant. Them boys, they'll absolutely love it. And again, it just shows, doesn't it, that at the moment we can't have an elite academy, we can't have this, we can't have that, and yet we're still producing players for rugby league. We're still doing our bit, so get down on these courses. They're obviously working, and again, a lot of good people putting a lot of time in. Again, full credit to the club and to them lads who have been selected.
Yeah. Other news: the foundation. There is a dance program going to be taking place in April at Hilton Square, Swinton, between the 3rd of April and the 6th of April for 18 to 14-year-olds. Paul, obviously, it's great. Obviously, half term is always a thing when you've got kids, finding things for them to do, and people have solved an opportunity there to take your kids down to this dance program. And
when's it half term? Is it nearly half term? I don't know. Oh, it's Easter, isn't it? Yeah, nearly. Bloody hell. It's reminded me there then to talk about all my kids, but it always seems to be off these kids, don't they? But yeah, you're always looking for stuff, aren't you? And half-term holidays and what have you to keep them busy. I mean, I don't. I just tell my missus I've got no holidays left at work, so I just stay in work. But no, the more that you can keep them occupied, it's cool.
Yeah, Paul's head fell off then. What? That's half term.
Oh dear.
So give you a couple of weeks, Paul, to sort something out. Don't worry.
Yeah, I didn't realise it's nearly Easter, isn't it? Yeah, I'm thinking because we play Leeds, don't we, on Easter Saturday? So I was supposed to be working that day, but I swapped it the other day at work, so it'll soon be here, won't it? Yeah, so it's just crept on us this time, hasn't it? Really, Easter, but yeah.
Yeah. Other news regarding the foundation at Parky, they've been nominated for Community Organisation Award, National Diversity Award, which is great for everything they do in the community. To be nominated for such a great award.
Yeah, I was going to wait, but I'm going to do it now.
Go on.
Listen, last week we had a chat about the IMG thing and everything else, and then we got on to the fact that the council are doing a loan to the club.
Yeah,
and there's been people whinging and complaining about it. Just go back over the last probably 5 or 6 subjects that we've just spoke about, and how many of them come from the community-based, the people who work within the community, from Salford Rugby League Club, from the development players to the dancing to the PDRL, absolutely everything. And now this is what Salford Rugby League offers to this city that is worth more than money. These are things that this club do that people don't see, don't care about, don't want to know about. They see the council are giving you this much money and you've got these 17 players running about on a pitch and that's it. The work that these people do behind the scenes, the foundation, and it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. This is just more evidence of what they give, and it highlights it. I mean, our club is a shining light, and there's nothing else in this city like this. Let's not forget that. If you take Salford Rugby League away, this is gone. There is none of this. These opportunities that we're giving to people. I mean, you've always said it, Rob, an opportunity club, and I know you mean it sometimes. As a player who's been cast off elsewhere, being given to. It's for everything and everybody in this city. This is what this club means. And these people who are going on about the money, well, I'll tell you what, let the council keep the money. Let's lose all this. And let's see how many people are unhappy then. Because these things won't be there to be offered. I know we do learning skills as well. And think it covers everything in the community and everything to do with this city. And people should be proud and actually shouting from the rooftops for what we do, and like you just said there, we're up for an award now. It blows my mind at times, and people have still got the cheek to say, what we're bothering for. No, wonderful news, and fingers crossed.
Yeah, Parker's hit a home run there, Paul.
Yeah, he certainly has. I've seen people slagging the club off. And having a go at them because of the council loan and things like that. Most people that I heard slagging it off were supporters of another team, which I won't mention. We all know I'm probably on about. But no, the club's a real beacon, I think, in the community, and it has been ever since I've watched it. I think the club has done great stuff over the years on and off the pitch to keep youngsters involved, and all the summer camps and things that they do there with their kids. Our club doesn't have somebody pumping loads of money in, does it? At the end of the day, we are sort of community based now, aren't we? Everyone's mucking in and doing their thing. You've got supporters trust. You've got all these different things that we've just spoken about, all the different sides of it. Getting everybody involved. And I think we're much more than a rugby club now, aren't we? We're a family, and that's what it's all about. And like Parky said, there's not a right lot else in the city for people to get involved with. So long live Salford Rugby League and rugby league in this city, and then the whole community that brings in. It's not just rugby league; it's all those other stuff that you mentioned as well. And yeah, I think people who are criticising that, I think you have a look at yourself really. I mean, this club does an awful lot, and yeah, long may that continue.
I'm going to run out of balls if you both keep hitting home runs. Because that's were two wonderful monologues there about what the Salford Red Devils Foundation is all about. Also, one of them, Heather Robinson's been nominated for Positive Role Model Award for all the hard work with the PDRL, the learning disabilities team, and also the wheelchair team. Obviously, she does such a great job, and you can vote for her and the foundation on the website. We'll put the link on our socials, Parker. Hopefully, the foundations and Heather will both get a result we want.
It's fantastic news. Yeah, Heather's she's been tireless for the last couple of years. I mean, she's just trying to get everything off the ground, and she's worked tremendously hard, and in her own development as well. I know she's got to do the coaching and everything. She took it to that next level now. Actually plays in the teams as well. It's full credit to her and everybody involved. It's again, I can't go on again. I can't. But
you can.
It's just another example of how good this club are and the people who work and represent this club. They deserve all the credit they get, and long may it continue.
Yeah, if your heart's not bouncing out of your chest at the moment about how well this club is doing, you're not doing it right. Basically, for me, wonderful. From top to bottom, we're a club that's going in the right direction, and long may it continue. So that's all the big news coming out of the club, and now we'll see what's happening in the world of rugby league with Whiteside's World of Rugby League. So that was Whiteside's World of Rugby League, and now we'll look forward to the Wigan game on Friday night. So Salford Red Devils travel to Wigan on Friday. Paul, obviously 3rd v 4th will be a tough contest.
Oh, going to Wigan's always a tough contest, Rob. They're a benchmark club, aren't they? They've got some top players. I mean, I'm just going back to that pre-season game we had with them. I looked at the two wingers they've got in the two centres, and you're probably looking at 4 of the best players in the league. You've got King, Wardle, Bevan French, and Liam Marshall. The pace they've got, and then you add to that the pack of forwards they've got as well. They've got Jai Field at the back. They've got a team full of star names, haven't they? And I think to be honest with you, they've been a bit hit and miss so far this season. I think Paul Rowley will target the flaws that they've got in their team. I think there's stuff we can go there and play the game. We can go there and move the ball about, but I think they'll do the same to us. I think they'll shift the ball as well. It's two teams that like to play good rugby league. I mean, look at the match last season at their place, 30-24 it was, I think, to Wigan. The drop goal from Morganesco, it was a cracking game, though. It was one of the best games of the season. And I think you'll probably see another game like that on Friday night. You've got two teams that love to play an expansive game, and the brand of rugby league that's played the right way. And I think that's what we'll see. It'll be tough, though, because, Wigan are very, very tough in the forwards. They'll play it close to the knuckle like they always do. They'll get away with what they can. And we've got to tough it up to that as well.
Yeah, like Paul said, Parker, some stars, Bevan French, Jai Field, Wigan being Wigan. For me, though, it's the tactics that they will employ. They will kick us into a corner and press, and it's up to us to escape.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, normally Wigan are so solid out. They don't give much away, and that's going to be difficult. I don't think that'll change. I think the defence will be as tight as a drum. They've got pace, and that kills teams. We've seen that ourselves. What effect it has. They've got real pace in their team, and if they get half a chance, they'll take it. It's going to be tough. I think if we were going there with a full squad, without the injuries we've got, I wouldn't be so sort of worried about it. I think like Paul said, I think we're going to have got frailties. I think this isn't maybe as strong as they have been. I think they're a better attacking team than they've been before, but perhaps not defensively as strong as I watched them against Catalan the other week, and there was a couple of things that Catalan did, simple little things that caught Wigan out, which wouldn't normally happen. No, they could tighten up on that. That could have all changed. They've had games in between. They're always very solid. They don't lose many at home. That's a big key. But I think you'll see a different Salford than we saw on Sunday. The only thing that does worry me a little bit is it's a short turnaround. So bumps and bruises that we're going to have to carry him into the game because we haven't got the squad to cover for that. So that could be a worry. But I'm excited. I'm keen. I've got my ticket. I'm ready to go. I've got I expect to see a different Salford. I really do, and I think it will be tighter. than people outside of the club or, you know, followers of other teams might think. But we're going to be really strong, really, really strong. And it is, you know, it's a top 4 clash. I mean, it's not very often we get to sort of brag about that, but it's about building for me. And if we get anything out of the game, well done. Because, like I say, it's a massive challenge. If not, it's just coming away with, you know, heads up and ready for the next week. We go again. We got Huddersfield the week after at home. That's a massive task. You know, at the moment they're one behind us. This week they've got the team one above us. It's great to be in these games, and but we go down no fear. You know, we like Paul said in his interview. Paul Rowley said, you know, we're the underdogs, and basically we're always the underdogs. That's more or less it. That's the way it is every week. So we'll just embrace it and move on. We'll be fine. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it, to be honest.
Yeah, like Parky said, Paul, short turnaround. Andy Acker's out for a couple of weeks as well. Opportunity for Amir Borough and Chris Atkin to play in that hooking role. And I spoke to Paul Prowley today in the press conference, and he talked about being the underdog and how it kind of suits us. So it will be interesting to see what sort of happens against Wigan. Obviously, it's that transitioning it from a team that goes to Wigan thinking, well, keep them below 20, and a team that goes to Wigan and says, you know what, we might do them here.
I think that mentality, that keeping below 20, I think that's eroded away over the last few years. That was always my sort of thing growing up. So, oh, blimey, we'll do well to do, you know, keep these below 30 or whatever. And if it was a moral victory, if you went to Headingley or Saints or whatever and kept them below 30, 40 points. But I think, yeah, I don't think that's so much there anymore now. I mean, if you was Matty Pete, looking at this game, a Wigan coach, you'd be worrying about Salford, thinking, blimey, they've got some good players. And that Brodie Croft's not a bad player. You know, there's some players in that team that can cause problems. So they'll be worried about us. But I think, like he said, like Parky said as well, they're going about the back. Yeah, they have got a pace, but I'm not sure about their pack. I mean, I don't think their pack's what it was. I think that's where this game will be won and lost for me. Yeah, there's going to be quality out wide and that, but you've got to lay that platform in the middle. You've got to get on top. Jack Ormrod, King Vuniayo have got to come out tearing to Wigan and really lay that platform down. Get on top of them, quieten that crowd down, and we've got players on that can play off the back of that, create chances and win that game. So yeah, we've got players missing at the moment. Like Gerrard's a big miss for us in the forwards. You know, Oliver Partington as well with him missing. The two big misses there in the pack. You've got Lafay out as well. I know he's in the squad. I don't know whether he'll play or not. Joe Burgess. Well, Joe thinks he's playing because he shouted over to me when he's on his way out on Sunday. Yeah, I'm definitely playing. Then Paul always said to me, "Well, I'll be the judge of that because I picked the team." so we'll have to wait and see on that one. But no, I'm excited. It's like I remember Parky saying a few years ago. I'm sure you said this, Parky, when you got a like Headingley and when you got a Wigan. It's like going having an exam at school when you're at school, and that's always stuck in my mind. That when I go to I always think about him saying that, and yeah, it is. But these are the games you want to be involved in. Like now we can compete. We're not going there just to keep the score down. We're going there. We're Salford, and we'll do you. If you're not on your game, we'll beat you. Look at the way we trumped Hull the other week. So teams are definitely wary of it. Other supporters are starting to get wary of us. So yeah, bring on Friday night. Can't wait.
Yeah, talking about homework and exams, Paul. Weather Friday?
Let's have a look. I don't know, mate.
I
don't know.
People need to know. You need to know what to wear.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably be going straight from work, so I'll have my uniform on. But Friday night, so look, it's got 11 and 5 and 50% chance of rain. So I'd say your big coat, and your bobble hat.
Big coat, bobble hat, Parky. That'll keep you going at Wigan. What is your score prediction?
It's a tough one. This, I think, like Paul said, I think the forwards will win and lose the game. We're low on numbers. You know, that's a bit of a worry. Losing Andy Ackers is huge for me. He's such a huge cog in what we do. I think that's going to cause us a problem. I've got nothing against Chris Atkin or Amir Borough. Certainly not Chris Atkin. I think he's a wonderful player. But then if he's moving from loose to hooker for part of the game, who's going in at loose? It can't. You know, we've got issues there. So I think Wigan might edge it because they have got a bigger squad, more players to call upon, and they are at home, which is a tough place. But I'm going to say Wigan 28, Salford 18.
2018 Wigan.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Salford to win. I'm going to go Wigan 10, Salford 30, and Chris Atkin double. Takes the points back to Salford with a cheerful Paul Rowler. How about you, Paul?
Well, we've got a 12-point start on the coupon.
Okay.
And the bookies aren't normally wrong. Well, mind you, they were wrong against Wakefield. They give Wakefield an 18-point start. So yeah. Let me think now. I'm going to go for the win. Because I always go for the win. But I'm just looking at a weather forecast. I'm just thinking it might be a bit dicky, the weather, raining and windy and, like real howling gales and all that. So not a lot of points in the game. And Salford will win it 18-16.
18-16.
We're never
take that.
Nando's,
that'd be a good result for us. Been a really good podcast. Really enjoyable talking about the Wakefield win and all the great stuff that's going on in the community, Paul.
Yeah, sorry, I was a bit late. I had to go to parents' evening and that tonight after work and what have you. So it's been a bit of an hectic night. So I apologise I was a bit late. But no, I've enjoyed it. Good to be back, lads. Did
you get the teacher to do your match report, spell check it?
Well, they need to do, mate, don't they? They need to do, man. I have to proofread it about 10 times.
That's good. They are very good, Paul. There's lots of people sort of read them and comment about them, don't they? And it's great. Obviously, it gets out there and promotes yourself and the club. Yeah, just glad to help, mate. Glad to help. Yeah, big thanks for tuning in. Big thanks for donating via the Ko-fi. Helps us, get the afford the programs to help this podcast grow, Parker. Without our listeners, we'd be three lads in a laptop.
Yeah, absolutely, and nobody needs that. I mean, I'm not going into that. It's a family show. Yeah. No, it's brilliant. Our listeners, I think they're incredible. Every week somebody comes up and says, "Oh, I love the podcast," or whatever. And you're like, "Wow, people actually know. People listen. What? It's crazy. It blows my mind. It really does." And I'm just delighted that I think we talk about rugby league, all day anywhere. This is just replaced the pub, I think, for us in terms of just chatting rugby league for hours and hours on end. To have people who listen and enjoy is something special, and we believe me, we don't take it lightly. This is, I really do thank people for tuning in.
Yeah, so big thanks to this week's Devil in the Detail podcast. I'm Rob Parkinson. You can find us on Facebook, Devil in the Detail SRD. Find us on Twitter at DITDSRD. And you find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Radio Contact, Spotify, and YouTube. Good luck, Reds. We'll see you soon.